All right, okay, everybody. Welcome to Tackle and I said Shackle. I said that weird, like shackled. Welcome to Tackle Tacos, a fishing podcast. Real pumped for tonight's episode to have the man, the dude, very much in the same vein. Everybody has that guy in their local area who is just sort of a boogeyman, who's just sort of like he shows up at the ramp and he might be the nicest dude. He might be Randy Howell or Shaw Grigsby, but he shows up at the ramp and you're like, dang it, because you just know you're most likely fishing for second. And that is first year Elite Series pro from the La Crosse, Wisconsin area, Nick Trim. Really pumped to have him on the podcast. I don't know that we've ever had somebody right before their first year on a top level like MLF, NPFL, Elite Series, like right before their first year. So that's pretty dope, right, Nate?
No, it's for sure. I think you're right. I think this is our first rookie on the scene, and what better way to start it off than kind of a local guy that a ton of our listeners are going to know and be ready to hear from.
Yeah, and it's dope too because he is a rookie, but he's a grown man. He's not.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
What does he say in Talladega Nights? Like he had a beard. He's a grown man. He's not.
Yeah.
Not an 18-year-old. He's not Easton Fothergill or whatever. So I think that'll do nothing but help him. You know what I mean? Like the extra experience and just wisdom, life experience, whatever. So pumped to talk to him about fishing plans for next year. Like how does he expect it to go? You know what I mean? Because I think people kind of said the same thing about Schlopper, that, because he's a very local guy, friend, whatever. Like, oh, he's good in northern Wisconsin, but then he goes and what did he win on the Red River last year? What did he win on besides La Crosse?
Yeah, I do want to say it was it Orange, Texas? Orange, Texas?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
The Sabine.
I think it was the Sabine. Yeah. But
Yeah.
It doesn't mean just because you're good locally, you can't fish somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like fishing is fishing. Yeah. You just got to kind of tweak it to where you're at. Fish are going to behave similarly, even if it is a little different. A lot of like the fundamentals apply, and then you kind of just craft it specifically for your circumstance. And yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do this year. So, Nate, can we just take 2 seconds before we bring in Mr. Nick Trim and just say how excited we are? Which one is it? Bears are out of the playoffs. That's what you get, you stupid sons of bees. I hate the Bears. So always hated the Bears, and now that they're like competitive, I hate them more. Although my prediction is they're going to have a precipitous fall next year. You can't keep winning games in the fourth quarter in the last 2 minutes, which they did 7 times this year. There's no way they can sustain that. Caleb Williams is less than 50% in the playoffs with 5 interceptions. How he beat the Packers is embarrassing. I'm over it, but I'm pumped that they're out. Maybe I should use this sound effect, because I hate to be a hater. I hate it, but I was absolutely like cheering last night when he threw that pick. And then, of course, Chris Collinsworth, who apparently has some kind of like love affinity for Caleb Williams, was like, "Oh, you're more stopped on that route. Come on, dude." Caleb Williams sails balls. That's what he does. Like he loves to overthrow players because he's got a gun. I can't deny that. But like, man, what do you think, Nate?
Yeah, no, he's got a cannon for sure. Definitely overthrew a lot of passes, which I was very, very happy with, for sure. It was a ton of hate, and
Bear Packer fans this year though, dude.
Exactly, yeah. So I was stoked to watch it. Watched every second of it. Cheering. I've never cheered for the Rams so hard in my life.
Yeah, same.
Which, that's that. Oh, and by the way, that catch by Devontae Adams on the sideline. Jeez,
he's so dumb.
Jeez,
he's so dumb. And they were scooting up there to try and snap it fast because they knew it was sketchy. And then you see the replay. It's like, that's absolutely a catch, 100. And not even a catch, but like Matthew Stafford didn't really have a window to throw that ball and to come to the other side. I mean, that's an NFL throw times 3. Like teeny little window, dude, moving towards the sidelines, full speed. You got this teeny little slot. It's either out of bounds, it's intercepted, or maybe it's a catch. And yeah, that was crazy. And then the thicker kicker just about pushed it left to win it, which was cool. I'm really hoping at this point for the Packers, because the breaking news today is that our defensive coordinator, who I like, but I honestly believe is overrated, Jeff Hafley, went to the Dolphins. I like him as a human. And sometimes I think just being able to motivate and lead men is as important as your football IQ. But like
Out.
he didn't super duper impress me. I mean, he gave up 25 effing points to the Bears in a singular quarter, and really like 2/3 of one quarter, not even the full quarter. Lost the last 5 games. Somewhere right now, Derrick Henry is still running on the Packers defense.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know how much I love his scheme and like his vibe, but I like him as a dude. So I think we can actually improve. And I'm really hoping that the Packers go after Raheem Morris. He was the Falcons head coach. He coached on the Rams when they won the last Super Bowl. He's friends with Matt LaFleur. I just think he's sharp. I think he's, like that dude. He's like a young Mike Tomlin, just commands respect. He's got this way of speaking. I don't know. I'm stoked for it. What do you think?
No, yeah, that'd be an awesome sign for sure. Yeah, he's got a ton of defense knowledge. That dude just knows the stuff when it comes to defense. He's
He does.
like I said, been around the league and been successful. Even the stint with the Falcons wasn't, I don't think, quite deserving of a fire. But
Yeah, I
hey,
mean, like the last teams, he had the second most sacks in the NFL for his defense.
Yeah,
with a bunch of star players on the team, and yeah.
Yep, I'd be more than pleased to have him as a Packers DC for sure.
Yeah, I like him a lot, man. Nate, is it even like ice fishable where you are?
Probably now it is, yes,
Oh,
because it's been brutally cold for the last 2 days. I want to say, yeah, Friday when I drove home from work across the river, it was completely open everywhere. Um, One little backwater marina that kind of is off the beaten path had some ice in it still, and then I drove across the river today, and the entire river is closed from
wow.
from one bank to the
You
other
cross 14?
currently. So, what's that?
Were you going across Pool 14 or what were you crossing at?
You would have been 15, yeah, right there on the what is that? The new bridge, 74 bridge. So,
Oh,
pool
okay.
15.
Up to go to, okay, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is wild. I didn't know if you're gonna take up our buddy Brian Brosdahl's advice and go ice fishing because you said you might. So I think you
I
probably should.
I probably should. I imagine here with this cold snap we're having now, and then I think it looks like the remainder of the week, maybe even a little bit longer. There's going to be plenty of ice. So I got some
Go
time.
crazy for those backwater areas on the Mississippi. Just up here.
Yeah.
Like you could jump in there somewhere. I don't know if Nick ice fishes or not. I think I saw something on social with him with like a big old taco looking perch or something, but we'll have to ask him about it. So let's not F around anymore. Let's stop talking bad about the Bears, although I could talk about that all day. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully Nick's not a Bears.
Yeah.
That would suck. Right before we bring him in, he's just ticked off. But with no further ado, this fella, as we said, is a new via winning the Bass Nation qualifier, which is crazy. I mean, you're talking about taking a whole bunch of sticks and whittling them down to like sharper sticks and then putting them all on a portion of a body of a water, and then he comes out with the win. I mean, you're taking the best of the best and then shaving it down to even better of the best, and then he comes out on top. So he definitely earned his berth into the Elite Series, and I'm pumped to talk to him. A guy I'm pretty sure he's from Galesville, which is right by La Crosse, and I almost bought a like 1999 Bass Cat from Galesville. Dude had like a 19 Merc Pro XS 250 on the back, and he was asking like 23,000 or something for it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that motor is like 3/4 of that price by itself.
Right. Yeah, no doubt.
Not that anybody cares about me almost buying a Bass Cat, but with no further ado, let's bring him in. Let's talk to him. Stoked to have him on the show, Mr. Nick Trim. Hey, what's up?
What's going on?
Hey, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Hey.
Heck yeah, dude. So, are you from Galesville or where are you from?
I am from Galesville. Yeah,
There
I mean, I say I'm from Galesville. I actually was born in Holman and then spent about 8 years in Lancaster, PA,
Oh, wow.
before moving back to Galesville. So,
Okay.
kind of been around, but Galesville kind of where I've been since I was 12 years old. So,
Okay. Yeah, and Galesville, for people who
Heck
don't
yeah.
know, I mean, Holman is closer to La Crosse than Galesville, yes?
correct. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Galesville's not far off, and it's a cute little town. I actually tried to fish that lake right there that's in Galesville, but it's all like 2 feet deep and just like sediment, like it's just mush, and like I don't know, I don't know.
It's got some big ones in it.
Does it have some good fish in it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like chuck full. I'm not kidding. It's chuck full of like 4 and 5 pounders.
Shut your mouth. I think
I'm not kidding.
I gave up too early. I went out there and like I didn't know the lake. I couldn't find like a map because it's like pretty little. I asked some buddies around here. They're like, I have no idea. Nobody had any idea like about it. And so I think I fished for like an hour. I think I had one bite on a jig, and then I was like, this is dumb. And it was cold, and I left. Well, now I'm gonna go back.
Yeah, if you're ever going through, you got to stop and fish it. Like I had buddies from on Alaska that would come up, and I wasn't buddies with them at the time, but
Mm.
as I got to know them, they'd be like, "Dude, should we tell him? Should we tell him?" And I'm like, "Tell me what?" And they're like, "That lake you got in Gillsville is one
Yeah,
of the best lakes around here."
for real.
So now everybody knows, but I
Nobody
haven't
knows.
fished it in years, and I don't think anybody else really fishes it. So the fish
I,
never see a bait.
I've never seen a boat out there besides the day. I almost felt weird. And the ramp's not terrible. It's not huge, but I almost felt like, am I supposed to be doing this? Like the dock was kind of decrepit. There's nobody around. Like there's boats or houses on the lake, but there's nobody out there. Like it kind of felt ghost towny a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, it was kind of strange, but I'm gonna have to go back now for sure, dude. I used to live in Wisconsin, and that lake was the same way. Super slept on, and I pulled so many big fish out of there. They stocked it with trout, and I think that's what helped the bass blow up there, But
Same thing.
okay, yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah,
Heck
so
yeah.
the Beaver Creek has Arctic Springs, which was a trout, like where they bred trout or whatever. They
Yep.
had the cages, and they would stock Arctic Springs, and then the fish would swim down into the lake,
Dang.
and so the bass got real big.
Yeah, we're gonna have to like beep out all of like the little juiciness that we just.
Yeah.
We don't want anybody to know. We need to keep that on the low. But Nick, thank you so much for jumping on, man. We're really excited. And before excuse me, before we get too far into it, from the bottom of my heart, man, congratulations for making the Elite Series. That's so great.
I appreciate it,
Yeah,
and I'm
freaking
so
awesome.
excited.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So let's start if you're cool with it. We don't have to get all deep, however you want to take it, but give us a little bit of kind of your start in fishing in general, and then when you had the kind of the moment of like, dude, this could be more than just fun. Like this could be more than just a hobby. Like, give us a little bit of the rundown on that, if you would.
So Nick Trim's learning curve was like super long, like ridiculously long. So
Okay.
my dad got me
That's what I
started
like
kind
to
of with
hear.
the bug. So we fish walleyes on the river from when I was just a little guy. Like I'm talking 3, 4, 5 years old. We go out and fish walleyes, anchor above a wing dam, soak a night crawler, and catch walleyes.
Yeah.
I didn't even know competitive bass fishing existed until I was 18 years old. My best friend said, "Hey, you want to fish a bass tournament?" And I thought, well, "What's a bass tournament?" I had no idea. Now, 18 years old, year 2000, like I had no idea what he's talking about. And we have a festival down here, Catfish Days. You guys might have been to it before. It's a party. It's a really good time. And they have a fishing tournament. It's $100 to get into. And I'm like, well, where am I going to come up with $50? So he's like, we'll figure it out. Let's just fish this thing. And so we fished it, and we got our teeth kicked in. I think we weighed in like 2 fish. It was a 6 fish limit. And I don't know why I liked it, because it wasn't fun getting my teeth kicked in, but I'm like, that was kind of fun. So then we fished it every year, and we sucked every year. And it probably, I'm not kidding. I don't think I cashed I take that back. I got in like a bass club. There's a Tremplo bass club, and I got to fish with some other guys that kind of knew the river and knew what was going on. And so I got a little bit of taste of, cashing a check here and there, got to see how they did it. We started getting better where we were catching fish, and um, I don't know that we cashed a check in Catfish Days until like 2010 ish, like it took us like 10 years.
Yeah.
Um, and then it became even more fun. Then I was like, oh, I could really do this.
Yeah.
And I started fishing BFLs. I fished the Rayovac when it was in town. Not that I probably should have, but I only missed the check by an ounce in the Rayovac, which is now um, the Toyota.
Yep.
And
Uh,
I that was kind of like, well, maybe these guys aren't as big and scary as I thought. I was in a 95 ProCraft Pro 180 with a
yeah.
150 Mariner on it, just a piece of junk.
Heck yeah.
And I ended up upgrading the boat, bought a Stratus because I wanted to get more serious about it. And then it was probably like 2014 before it really started clicking for me 2012 to 2014, I really started getting the hang of it. And I really started spending a lot of time on the river. And a frog was kind of like the aha, I can
Mm-hmm.
do this.
Okay.
And I would just strap a big old broomstick in my hand, 65-pound braid, and I would just throw frog on everything until something bit at it.
That's
And I just spent more time out there than everybody else. And you get enough bites in a weed mat, you know that there's fish there. And I go back on tournament day, and ended up starting winning tournaments. Um, and then I think just I had some money coming in from winning. I didn't, I just had a better attitude, and I
mhm.
started trying other things, pitching a jig, throwing a spook, and uh, whatever it may be, spinner bait, swim jig, and I
Mhm.
just started kind of catching on to everything, and putting it all together. And I started really understanding the migration of a bass, specifically on the river. I wasn't doing any good anywhere else. Not that I fished anywhere else. Um, and then in 2019, I was like, man, I'm gonna I'm gonna go fish the opens. What I was thinking, I have no idea, but I was like, well, I'm gonna go fish the opens,
That's awesome.
and I threw my money down. I could afford it, and well, I could make my payments to get into the tournaments. I couldn't really afford it, but I thought I could.
Yeah.
So I went and fished the opens, and it was pretty miserable for me. Uh, the highlight of my opens career, that my opens year in 2019, was like being in 7th place after day one at Smith Lake, um, and then bombing day two.
Mm.
I mean, complete bomb and missed the check, the whole deal. It couldn't have gone any worse. And
Yeah.
that was really, I mean, we had a one in lacrosse, so I was like, well, I'll do good there. And I got locked out on day two.
Uh,
So barge got me, and it's pretty miserable. And I'm like, well, that ain't for me. We're not doing that again. And I just went back to the local circuit, and
so you
the
did the
whole
open
time,
just 1 year then, Nick?
yeah, just in
Okay.
2019.
Okay.
Um, and and I just kind of decided, you know what? Maybe I'm not gonna chase this.
Mm,
Um, it was financially draining, it was emotionally and time draining.
for sure.
It was I don't know, it just wasn't I didn't feel like I had the confidence to do it. And then, pretty soon, like shortly thereafter, I started like really, really winning on the river. I mean, I was cashing checks just about everything I got into. I was winning a lot of those. And I started like venturing up to Red Cedar.
Mhm.
Took second to Pat up there
Sweet.
in a derby that I thought for sure we were going to win until he weighed in, and he won by like 2.5 pounds.
Yeah, he does that.
Um, but it was just I started getting more confidence, and then in 24, I jumped in the opens again.
Okay.
Um, that was a nine. I actually, a funny story in 22 or 23, when they announced that you had to fish all nine to make the elites.
Yeah.
I actually put a post of it on my Facebook page and said, "There goes that dream." Like, how could
Wow.
anybody ever do that?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so that was like never gonna happen. Um, and 2 years later, I found myself, a different job, different financial situation, and I'm like, hey, I could make another run at this. So I threw my money in to fish all nine of them. Something I never could have saw myself doing. I had a new Phoenix. I had all my ducks in a row. Like, I was ready. I didn't have to worry about the boat. I didn't have to worry about this, that, or the other thing. I could just go and fish.
Mm.
And I had a decent year. It wasn't great, but I finished like in the 50s somewhere, I think, in points out of 250 guys or whatever it was. And I'm like, okay, I can kind of do this. Well, then I took a promotion at work to sales manager, and I said I was only doing it if I could still fish. So I still fished, but I was trying to manage guys,
Mhm.
do my job, and fish at the same time. Didn't work. That was last year, and I had a really kind of miserable year. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to be a sales manager, if I wanted to fish, because the two of them weren't going to work. Like, I couldn't do them both.
Yeah, it's
But
so
I
hard.
still had one shot, and that was the nation championship, obviously. And um, somehow, some way, the stars aligned, and I ended up, winning that and securing a spot in the elites. So
Dang.
I got 2 weeks left of sales management, and then I'm heading south. And
Wow.
that's my story.
Holy cow.
That's
Dang.
freaking awesome.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
so dope. Nate, I got a couple follow-up questions. I don't know if you want to jump
Hit
in.
him. No, hit him. Go ahead.
So if you're okay with it, I don't want to dig all up in your personal life too much, Nick, but
sure.
tell me a little bit about your wife. And you have some kiddos, right? Like, because I know when you're, like we were, we talked with Easton Fothergill a few weeks ago, and that dude is sharp as a tack and kind of wise beyond his years. But when it comes to scheduling and planning, and he's planning for himself. You know what I mean? And that's not a diss, of course, on any level. But he doesn't have to worry about what you have to worry about. How supportive is your wife in this whole venture? What does that look like, making a choice with the kiddos, and how does that all come into play? How do you factor for all that?
I think, you know, she really wanted this for me. Um, Last year at Grand Lake, I had just a real near miss on the making the Elite Series. I was like a pound 11 ounces going into the final day out of the lead,
Oof.
and she really wanted it there, and I kind of disappointed her. So like to get another crack at it, she's been super supportive. She's been my biggest supporter. The national championship, she couldn't have been any better. Like just taking care of the house, taking care of everything, so I could just focus on doing my job. And she's stoked, but she works really hard too. There's a lot that goes on. We see the anglers, as I mean, just last year I was the guy sitting in the living room watching the Elite Series,
Mhm.
and we see the anglers and the work they put in, but we don't see what goes on behind the scenes, and that's my
Right.
wife.
Yep.
I made a comment on stage at the national championship about the kiddos because I have a 6-year-old Marshall and a 11-year-old Haley who are awesome, super supportive, but they also don't get to see their dad for a lot of the year
Yeah.
because I'm fishing, whether it's the opens or now to be the elites or whatever it may be. And they don't get a choice in that. So it's kind of unfair for them. I think my kids are pretty okay with it.
Mhm.
And I always reflect back to my childhood because my parents were separated. So I would come home to see my dad, 3 times a year, Christmas, one other time. And then for the summer, I'd come home for like 2 months. And I don't look back and say, man, I wish I'd had more time with him, or, like we just enjoyed the time we had, and that's the way it was, right?
I like
And
that.
I
Yeah.
feel like that's how my kids are as well.
Mhm.
The time that we're home, we hang out, we enjoy it. Uh, my wife's really the one that puts, the effort into it to make it work, and so we got a really good dynamic here. I know fishing's wrecked a lot of marriages. I read about that, I've heard about it, seen it,
Sure.
but I think this one's safe. So
Good for
Heck
you,
yeah.
man.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so Marshall and Haley, is this like an M&M thing, or that's just by chance?
Oh my gosh. So
Because that's M&M.
uh,
Is that his daughter's name, Haley?
100%. My wife picked them both, and if you were to tell that to anybody I went to school with, they'd be like, "Yeah, right."
Uh,
So I had the frosted tips in high
oh,
school, and
yeah.
my nickname was Trim Shady. Some Nick
Oh,
Trim,
that's
so Slim Shady, Trim Shady.
so dope.
Uh, I was just the Eminem
Uh,
nut.
Yeah.
Probably still listen to him more than anybody else. It's kind
Right
of my
on.
guy.
Yeah.
Walk up songs, Eminem.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's dope. I didn't know if I'm like, I don't know if I should even ask this question. I'm gonna sound like an idiot, but like Marshall's a
I
super cute name, and then you said Haley, and I was like, wait a second.
I've gotten the question before,
Yeah,
but I promise you, and my wife would vouch, she picked both names, and I
that's right.
just agreed to them.
Yeah. So also, Nate, I can see you got a question brewing over there, but real fast, I just want to say, huge shout out to your wife, because that is like the most like, Wizard of Oz, the guy behind the curtain, pulling the pulleys and making everything happen that you don't always see, and like you said, like it's a lot of work, it's a lot that people don't see, and so huge shout out to your wife. I think that's awesome, man. Good for you.
Thank you.
Heck yeah.
All right, what you got,
Yeah.
Nate?
So, I was just wondering, for in terms of like added pressure, like you said, you felt like you let your wife down
Yeah.
on Grand, and then you're fishing in your backyard, where kind of cut your teeth, and any what was the added pressure like, or was there any, in terms of trying to
Mm.
win that national championship?
There was honestly a ton.
Yeah.
Um, Leading up to it, everybody talked about it like, "Oh, you're gonna make the elites next year. You're gonna win," and I would just kind of like laugh it off, or we'll see, whatever. And I try not to think too much about it, but nobody would let you forget about that it's
Yeah.
on your
Right.
home water, and even after practice, I talked to a few buddies, and they're like, "Well, you ready?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I mean,
Mm,
if it's like a 16, 17 pound a day thing, I think I might have enough, but I think it's going to be way bigger than that. I just know that the weights this river puts out and at that time of year." And I said, "I don't think I got the stuff." But we had some cold nights coming, and I was hopeful that that was going to push the fish. But anyway, there was a ton of added pressure being on my home water in front of the home crowd,
yeah,
and it's kind of like that. Don't screw it up. Like, you got this. You just can't screw it up, and that I feel like that's
Right.
even harder sometimes than just
sure.
going and making it happen.
Yeah. Well, then you went wire to wire, so it looks like you did okay.
Yeah, yeah, it went well.
Yeah, you pulled it out just barely. Well, not really, just barely.
Uh,
Yeah, wire to wire. That's amazing. But I totally get what you're saying, because the other thing is too is a lot of times when people are like on their home turf, they don't win. It's and I mean fishing in general. Everybody says it. It's like the most losing sport there is. It's not like you win every derby you enter, and it's so easy to start strong and then fall apart like the Packers or something. But yeah, I can't even imagine the extra pressure in the nation in your backyard. But so I guess we can talk about that a little bit. Walk us through a little bit, if you would, of the nation, like because it was a 3-day derb, right?
4.
4-day. Okay, that's a 4-day. I'm sorry. And you went
It,
wire.
that was
No.
new this year. Was the 4-day.
Oh, okay. And you went wire to wire. But to follow up on Nate's question, does that make it more pressure that now you're the hometown guy who's winning day 1, day 2? So by day 4, you like, frick, don't mess it up? Or are you kind of putting it in cruise control and like really feeling it? Or how did that work out for you?
I just knew. I mean, there was pressure every day. I
Hmm.
think the hardest day was day 3. We had a 4-hour fog delay. They were
Yeah.
going to call it at 11 o'clock, and I was begging GL. I'm like, GL, just let's be done. Like, the day is blowing out of here. Let's go. Let's be done. I
Hmm.
did not want to go. I had to lock through, so I was locking to pool 7. I really didn't know if I could catch even a keeper on pool 8. So going up to pool 7 was going to take an hour to hour and a half out of my day, and we only had 4 hours to fish. So my decisions had to be like perfect. Like, I didn't have time to make a bad decision.
Hmm.
So that day was probably the most pressure I felt of any day. When they
Yeah.
said go, I was like, oh, this is bad. You know, one barge could have ruined it for me, whatever.
Totally.
And yeah, I mean, like you said, the hometown hero, or not hometown hero, but the hometown guy doesn't always win,
Yeah.
because I fished 2 opens here in the last few years, and I mean, I barely scratched checks. So it it, it could be hard. The added pressures. It, it, I feel like I had an advantage, especially that time of year, where fish are really transitioning,
Yeah. Yeah.
where I just knew from experience where they go, and I could kind of run. I really only had like 3 areas, and I really managed them. Like, on day 2, I left with a 2.5 pounder in my live well, just because I was at my target weight. My target weight was 19, or it was 18 actually, and I knew I was over that,
Mhm.
and I could have called that 2 3/4 by probably making 1 or 2 more casts. It was that good of an area. And in
Yeah.
hindsight, I should have burned it down, because the mud got there on day 3 and the fish were gone.
Mm,
So
dang.
um, it was, yeah. Anyway, just the decisions, and I really tried to manage my fish, and I think fish were just coming. It was like I couldn't really screw it up. There was just more fish coming every day.
Awesome. Yeah.
yeah, heck yeah.
So let me ask you a question, and I should know this. Nate and I were both trying to figure this out like beforehand. It just feels like there's so many rules, and if you do this, you qualify for that, and if you do this, you win that, and you blah blah blah. So you're fishing the classic this year, then, off the nation championship. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Can you just press pause? Like, you have a ridiculously impressive trophy room behind you, right? Like your setup is dope, but like you're about to fish the freaking classic. What does that feel like?
Amazing. The, the classic was my number one goal getting into the opens, which
Yeah.
might sound funny, because I think most people fish the opens to make the
Bro.
elites.
Yeah.
And for me, it was more like, I think the elites is like this pipe dream that if I put myself in position, I'm gonna, that could happen. But the reality is, I fished 9 tournaments to hopefully pop one and make a classic one time in my life. I thought, a
Wow.
lot of guys never get the opportunity, so I just want to make one in my life. And then, you know, I didn't know about the Bass Nation 3 or 4 years ago. I just found out about it a couple years ago when they started doing the qualifiers, and I won the one in La Crosse, went to Grand Lake, and just missed. And I'm like, well, I'll never miss another one of them. Like, I don't care where it is. And then they announced it's going to be in La Crosse, and I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, this could be good. And yeah, I ended up checking both them boxes of, Elite Series and Classic. So the Classic, I'm super stoked for. I was down there just before the first of the year because it went off limits on the first, and I
Right.
poked around and looked around. Funny story, I got to tell this one. You might have saw it on my social media, but
Yeah.
I pack up and I drive down there before Christmas, and I know I'm gonna fly home for Christmas, and I'm in a hurry to get the hell out of here so I can go fish in Knoxville and check that place out. And I get about halfway down there, 12 and a half hour drive. I get about halfway down there and I call my wife and I said, "Hey, are my boat keys in my hooded sweatshirt that I was wearing yesterday?" She goes
Oh
in the
boy.
closet and they fall out of the pouch of the sweatshirt. And I'm like, I think I got a spare one in my center console, but I don't think I have one for my locker bar, which was,
Oh,
locked in my compartments. So I'm like, I'll
yeah.
just I'll get a Sawzall blade, whatever. I had a Sawzall, like a little M12 kit I carry around. So I'm like,
Mhm.
I'll just cut the lock on it. We'll be fine. So I go to Walmart. I get down there, go to Walmart, get a Sawzall blade, cut the lock on my locker bar, get that opened up. So I'm in my compartments and get to my rods. I go and open the center box, and there's a spare key and there's a locker bar key that I just cut. Uh, I grab the spare key and I put it in the ignition. I go to put it in the ignition. It don't even fit. Here's a spare key out of my 19 Phoenix, not my 22 Phoenix.
My God.
And so I didn't have a key. So I went and put in um, down in Knoxville, and I trolled around for a day. I got to see a lot. I mean, it was cool, but
Wow.
I literally was on the trolling motor all day, and
Oh
then I flew home
gosh,
and
that's
got my keys.
crazy. Dang. The
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
but let's keep in mind, let's have a little historical context here. Jordan Lee won the classic without an outboard, so maybe you can win the classic without practicing with an outboard. Maybe some sort of, twist right there or something. Maybe it's a tempting fate or some Freudian slip or like it was supposed to happen. I don't know, dude.
I love the way you think. I hope you're right.
I hope I am too,
Heck
man.
yeah.
Let me ask you that then, Nick. On a personal level, are you a spinner outer or are you a pretty level headed, like chill guy when stuff like that pops off?
Whew. I think it depends on the situation. I mean, I like to think of myself as a pretty level-headed guy. I think I think that was maturity of fishing. Like, I feel like everybody spins out early on, like that's just part of it. And I feel like over the years I've gotten really good at keeping my head on straight. And I mean, I could have obviously when there was a local on my spot on day three, I could have lost it right there. But I put my head down and I did what I had to do. And even on day four, I literally, I think 2 hours in, I had one 2 and a quarter pounder, and I'm like, oh gosh. And this
Mm,
jig that I'd been throwing the whole time, I just couldn't get bit on. And ended up just picking up that jerk bait, and I caught that 5 pounder on like my third cast with the jerk bait. I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing.
yep.
But I didn't spin out. I didn't go running around. I kind of stuck to my area, knowing the fish were there.
Yeah.
I just had to figure out how to catch them. And so I would say I've mellowed with age,
Sure.
but there was a time that I was, yeah. And
Yeah.
I still get excited. And I'm still emotional and say some words that I probably shouldn't say on if you rewind my GoPro footage. But for the most part, I keep from spinning out, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Well, I mean, speaking of Bass Nation qualifiers, Ike, I mean, I don't know how old he is, and he still loses his mind every once in a while. Who else has won from the nation? Kerschel, right? Brian Kerschel, he won a classic, right? Ike won a classic. Is there any other nation qualifiers who've won the classic?
Paul Mueller.
Oh yeah, Mueller. That's right. Duh. Of
No.
course.
Yep. I think to do it in the same year, though, I don't know that there. Herschel, obviously, the trophy's named after him. He won the nation
Right.
and then the classic in the same year.
So sick.
I don't know if Ike did
Yeah.
in the same year or not.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he won a classic from like being in the elite 150 or whatever it was.
Top 150.
Um,
Whatever.
yeah. I I don't know. I thought there was one other person that had won the.
Yeah, there
I
may.
can't think of who it would be.
I can't either, but yeah, those guys are pretty good company. You're in there for sure. Kershaw, I mean, that's
Without
like
a doubt.
story ever, man. Like what a stud, what a cool dude, super, humble beginnings, and then, to have him, what was that? It was a plane crash or something, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Delta something flight
yeah.
one. I don't know. Yeah.
Japers criminy, that's rough. So, so let's transition into just kind of I want to hear what you think, sort of pre fishing the elites. So essentially, like, I'm not guessing, but like, I don't know if you want to call it forecasting or whatever, manifesting. We can try and sound all smart. But coming into the elites, what are you expecting? Let's say this. What are you expecting to be your biggest hurdle your first year? Because you're not a child, which we talked about on your intro, which I think really helps. But your first year in the elites, what are you forecasting being like maybe the most difficult part of it?
Oh, I think honestly, I think the forward-facing events are going to be the biggest challenge for me. Uh, and not that I can't catch one on forward-facing.
Aren't you?
Huh?
You're kind of a scoper, though, right? You're kind of a low key scoper.
Oh, I mean, low key keyword, yeah.
Say you're pretty good on live scope, but
I can do it.
yeah,
And in perspective mode, I think I would put myself up against anybody,
yeah,
spawning fish, that type of thing.
yeah.
But as far as like shaking a minnow at them at 50, 60 feet, I can do it, but I'm not super proficient at it. That's how I qualified for the nation championship on Pickwick, was doing it, but I'm not I'm not gonna beat a Tucker Smith and a Paul Marks and a Emil Wagner, those guys with it.
Mhm.
So, we'll find out. Sorry, Lake Martin will be a real test for me this year. Honestly, the rest of the schedule really sets up for me, in my favor.
Okay,
Everything's I think Lake Martin's gonna be really heavily dominated. I mean, you got the Arkansas River, which will be, a spawning event, a river event, kind of similar to what I'm used to here.
Yeah.
Um, you got the Pascatank, which there'll be some scoping going on there, but I mean, I think you can do just as good with some, power fishing and
sure,
Santee Cooper, Jurassic Park, which is a super cool lake. And
Mm.
I just think it sets up really good for me this year. Um, we'll see. But I think Scopin's going to be trying to run with these guys who that's all they do. Like they're just so good at it. And I have a hard time with fish identification. Like
sure.
I can do it and I can say like, oh, that's a bass for sure. But sometimes I can't say that's not a bass. You know what I mean?
I
Like
follow. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard. So that's gonna be a challenge for me, I think.
Has it crossed your mind at all to just put on like your John Cox cap and just don't worry about it at all and just go fish?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, you might you might not see me staring at a screen much this year at all. Um I feel like that's my strength, and I feel like if I'm trying to do it the other way, I'm not gonna beat these guys. So
yeah,
if it's a
Right.
scope tournament and I can go shallow and figure something out, uncover something, that's really the only chance I got. So I'll probably spend a lot of time, you know, doing what I do
yeah,
and trying to make it work my way. But there'll be certain situations, like even at Lake Martin, where I'll probably have to have a school spots just to fill a limit or something. But
Right.
if I can make up part of my bag each day doing it my way, I think I'll have a good shot.
yeah. I like that, man. I remember talking. I'm only telling you this because I think that will really like endear you to people. Like people like it when anglers are themselves, like Denny Brower, or like when I think it was maybe a couple years ago, the first time I saw Greg Hackney with a spinning rod, it was like, you know what I mean? Like put that down, it didn't seem right, or like, I don't know. I remember one time I watched an interview with Ish and he said flat out, he's like, I'm either going to swing for the fences and knock it out of the park, or I'm going to go down striking out. He's like, but I'm not going to go up there and bunt or what, I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I remember talking to John Cox when everybody was like rolling out their new boats, and he was showing me like his new Vexus, and it had an Ultrex Quest on it, and I was like, "You gonna leave that on there?" And he's like, "I don't know." He's like, "I don't really want to mess around with taking it off, but I do want my Fortrex back." And I was
That's
just
wild.
like, "That's so cool," you know. Like you get into your own lane, and it's not like you're hard headed. You're not afraid. You know, you don't have to look left or right. Like just do your thing. You know what I mean? And I think that'll suit
Yeah.
you well. Yeah, I think that'll go really well for you. Let me ask you a question, and you're in a very unique position to answer this. I've asked a lot of pros this question, but not right where you are, right on the precipice of pushing into full blown top level pro. Because I think it opens our pros too. But anywho, what is the difference between a weekend angler or a guy who's just a stick and a guy who goes full blown, full on pro? What's the difference?
You mean like definition wise, or just what
Well,
makes that person tick?
yeah, like what takes a guy on a 1 to 10 who's a 6.5 and pushes him to an 8.5 and he goes to the elites, or you know what I mean? Like what is that differentiator that makes a dude like a full actual elite series pro?
Hmm. It's a really good question. I'm gonna go with like just I think at some point in everybody's career, all the information we've gathered, every time we make a cast, whether we catch a fish or not, every time we get a bite, there's a piece of there's a nugget that goes in somewhere.
Mhm.
And I think at some point in our career, and I can almost tell you to the day for me when it happened, is like all them nuggets finally kind of make a story or make sense, right? Um, and being able to apply that on like different bodies of water than our home water. Now, I haven't had a ton of success outside of the Mississippi River. Uh, but I think I'm more confident now than I ever was um, outside of the river. So, being able to take what you do really well and be able to do it everywhere else, and then just kind of decipher that information faster and make those decisions quicker. Because I was the guy that would like take forever. I'd like the third day of practice, I'd be like, "Oh, I get it," and I got 2 hours left to find areas to do it. Oh, this is what they're doing,
I follow you.
and
Right.
being able to do that a lot quicker. I think everybody who's fished a tournament where we had off limits, 3 days of practice, and then the tournament starts can relate to what I'm saying,
Mhm.
where it's like it finally all clicks, and then you don't have time to go put it together, or find areas that it works. So being able to just and forward facing sonars made that process a lot easier, I guess. Like
Sure.
it really shortens up is that what you're looking for?
Absolutely. Yeah. I
Okay,
just,
yeah.
Yeah.
because I think a lot of guys, there's no wrong answer there, you know, but I think a lot of guys have visions of grandeur. Like I could be a pro. I've won a couple derbies, you know, whatever. And maybe they could, you know, I'm not here to crap on someone's dreams, but there is a difference between a dude who like can make a 3-pointer with his kids and a guy playing in the NBA. You know, like there just is a difference. And I think whether it's like that, I tend to lean into a concept, what you're saying, like it's between your ears. And so you're saying like decision making, putting the pieces of the puzzle together faster, you know, giving yourself more of a buffer. I think that's everything. How did Polinick put it that one time? What did he say? Oh, what did he say, Nate? When we had that podcast where we asked everybody for advice on winning tournaments, and he said cognitive clarity or something, like being as prepared as you can be.
Yeah.
That way, when you hit the water, it's easier to make the choices you have to make on the water because you're not worrying about anything else or something. I just think so much of it comes down to a mental game.
Yeah. The other thing that I would add to that is you gotta want it. Like I know
Yeah.
guys that are better than me. Um, I feel like they're better than me, and I feel like they could do this. I don't. I mean, I can think of one in particular, and he just don't want to.
Mm.
He might be the best stick in Wisconsin or even the Midwest, but he don't want to do it. So,
Wow.
and then some guys want to do it, but they don't want to put the work in. You know.
Yeah, totally.
Um, And it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of sacrifice. You can't do it just by fishing on Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday rather,
Hmm.
or fishing Saturday and jumping in a tournament Sunday. It takes a lot of sacrifice and a lot of playing hooky from work and and hoping they don't find out, and stuff like that. I won't give away all my
Yeah.
secrets, but that
Yeah,
might be one of
yeah, I can be a manager for much longer talking like that. You got to be careful. I know
them.
you got 2 left, but shoot, you don't want to out yourself here.
Right.
Yeah. What do you think, man? So kind of leaning into that angle a little bit more, what's the line for you? You can't speak for every pro, because I think this vacillates a lot per whoever you're talking to, but what's the line between pattern recognition and going with your gut?
That's a good one.
Because I know you've done it before, where you had a feeling, like, oh, they're going to be over there, and you were dead wrong. I've done it, and you've been on a pattern, and the old school, oh, you don't leave fish to find fish, but all the fish you're catching are like the initial days of Major League Fishing, where it's a bunch of 1-pounders that nobody wants to see you catch anyway. And so then you have to go with your gut, like, dude, I should have done the milk run and gone back to that first spot now that the sun's higher. What, like for you, are you more of a pattern recognition guy? Are you more of a gut guy? Or is it somewhere in the middle? What does that look like?
I feel like I'm more of a pattern recognition guy. I really do.
Yeah.
Perfect example, Grand Lake. I had some mechanical or electronic problems, I guess I would say. My batteries ended up torched. And I had like 2.5 hours left to fish. I had a good bag going, but I was really, in hindsight, it would have been enough to make the cut, but I, I didn't know it was. And I was kind of feeling sorry for myself. I was just going to go put it on the trailer and start driving back home, from Oklahoma. And I'm like, you know what? You can do this without a trolling motor. I mean, even though you're 10 miles from where you found fish and where you spent this whole tournament, this could work. So I pull into this pocket and I jump up on the front deck, trolling motor's still stowed, boat's kind of floating into the pocket, and I just start firing. And my second cast, I catch a 5-pounder.
Wow.
And that was the fish that put me into third place and just outside of the lead. And so, but it was a pattern. It was 100% a pattern. And I just I've always trusted myself with that. Like if they're doing it on that end of the lake, they're probably doing it on this end of the lake, and you can kind of just do it everywhere. I'm really bad at the gut stuff, and that might be you asked me what my biggest hurdle might be. It might be that this year is just being able to adapt and scrap everything and just go with my gut and find fish, because I do think there's a need for that. Quite often actually, it's probably one of the more overlooked things that that what makes a pro, and that's probably one of the abilities. I always say their decision making, being able to be real quick about it, but scrapping everything and just going fishing and finding fish, I think is a big one too.
Yeah, that's really good. That was a great story. Really like that. The no trolling motor thing. Because I mean, if there's something you can't have, to not have a trolling motor, that's hard as a bass angler. Jeepers.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was so sad. I was just like, well, there goes this one, like
most people put it on the trailer. Honestly, I think most dudes would have.
Yeah, and I just dumped 2 big fish that earlier. I could have like a 20-pound bag that day, and I was already mad, and then my trolling motor died, and I'm like, well, that's a sign.
Yeah,
just go home.
Way to be positive. That's what we talk about here. That's kept the head on the shoulders and got after it. That's sweet.
Yeah, Grand Lake, the Cherokees. That one can humble a lot of folk. Awesome lake, lots of different ways to fish it. Is that where Howell won his classic? Isn't it on that?
Gunnersville.
Is that where he won his?
Yeah.
Who won on? Who was it?
Game Face won, and then.
Oh, that's right. That's who it was. It was Pace, wasn't it?
Justin Hamner.
Yeah,
and then Hamner was the last.
Just a few years ago.
Yeah, Hamner won in spots that what didn't look very Grand Lake, the Cherokees from what you're used to seeing, But yeah, what a stud. All right, so let's do a quick game, Nick, and then I want to get back into serious questions. We do the stupid game we call one of your favorites. It's supposed to be rapid fire, but we usually never let it go rapid fire because we all like weigh in on the responses or whatever. But one of your favorites. We named stupid topics. They can be fishing, don't have to be fishing. It doesn't have to be your number one favorite because that's hard to like narrow it down on stuff. But one of, and then we'll fill in the gap, and then you let us know what you think. All right. And then I want to get into like your gear and setup and some of the more technical stuff if you're cool with that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's run it.
One of your favorites.
So we already know that one of your favorite musicians, so we won't touch music, but give us one of your favorite, let's say, movies.
Gladiator.
Ooh, good one. Have you seen the new one? Did you like it?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm not in love with it. It's entertaining, but the first one's just so good.
I feel like it's the Top Gun saga. Like if you watch the new Top Gun, the whole
Yeah.
love story is cheesy, and it just
Yeah.
doesn't even hold a candle to the
Left it alone.
first one, you know. But
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Nate. Sorry.
One of your favorite fast food joints on the road?
Gosh, I hate fast food. Just because it's bad for me, and I'm already fat. That's why. But I probably
I
stop.
hear you there.
Yeah.
Jimmy John's. I stop at Jimmy John's more than
I
anywhere
love
else for
Jimmy
sure.
John's, dude. Jimmy John's is so good.
Heck yeah,
All right.
perfect.
One of your favorite things to do that's not fishing related if you have a day off.
Probably bow hunt.
Attaboy. Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, we love bow hunting for sure. Absolutely.
No doubt. Favorite ways to catch them aside from a frog?
A spook.
Mm, okay.
Sorry. A 3DB pencil.
Oh yeah, but say you're on Yo-Zuri. You can't be saying no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
A
are good, though.
topwater walking bait.
Yeah, no, those,
There you
honestly,
go.
I like those Yo-Zuri, the 3DB stuff.
They're legit.
They're good baits. They're made well. I've beat the heck out of some of those pencil ones, and like they're not that expensive, which is great. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to plug your plug, but I like them.
Yeah, and if you haven't used the pencil popper, I mean, it's as you want that like stay in one spot and just spit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
legit.
Yeah, no, they're super solid for sure. One of your favorite pros, bass fishing pros ever.
Polinick.
Heck yeah, hard to argue.
Yeah, that's awesome. Man, I done lost what I was gonna say with that one. Favorite bait on a spinning rod?
Ooh, got to be a minnow.
Ugh. Mm.
I mean, catches more than
It does catch them,
just
dude.
about anything else.
Gosh,
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I remember when it first started catching fire on the whole jig head minnow thing, and then everybody started coming out with these super goofy jig designs, like that queen tackle one, where the eyelet comes back, kind of runs next to the hook shank, and then it seems like most people have just sort of settled on like a normal, jig ball, ball head jig with like the 90-degree line tie, and I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy how things sort of got crazy and they came back to simple. And do you throw on a jig head minnow? Do you ever throw a big one, like a big?
Yeah, probably
big
too
Kamada?
big, more than I should.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at downsizing. I'm stubborn that way. I like big baits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I throw like 6-7 inch Sakamadas a lot.
Yeah.
I have a few like 4 and 5 inch, but I try not to throw them. Now Pickwick, I caught them all on a 5 inch wing
Okay.
fluke, but
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like a lot of people think of jig head minnow as like a little, like a hover minnow or like something small, like a Great Lakes finesse something. And you're talking like the big boys, 6-7 Sakamata shads are pretty dope. That's a whole different. It's not really finessey at that point.
I like the drawing power of them.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody else is throwing a 4 inch past their head or 5 inch.
Yep.
And they see this big old 6 or 7 come by, and I also feel like I can get it to just act right better. Like if I have one bad cadence with a 4 inch, that thing shoots off and then the fish swims away.
Right.
And I can feel it. I know when I do it. And with the bigger ones, it seems like that thing's just more in its path. And you can have a little one, but it doesn't dart like a 4 or 5. So probably because
Makes a
I'm
lot
not
of
good at
sense.
it is why I use the big one. But
No, but that makes. I mean, honestly, it's like you
Yeah.
said. I think it's like a longer axle to axle bow. It's more forgiving than like a real compact bow if you're not Robin Hood. And I think it's almost like same concept with a long. And like in business, DVP, differentiating value proposition. What makes you different? You swim you swim like you're a sales manager. You swim like you said, you swim a 7 through a bunch of schools of 4, and it's just dancing there, just so easy to eat. Yeah, they're gonna chomp that thing. I think that's super smart, man. I like it. What's one of your favorite things to drink while in the boat? Are you just a water guy, or are you an energy drink guy? Are you a Gatorade guy? What's one of your favorite drinks?
So I got two plugs for this one. I drink Spark in the morning,
Okay.
Advocare Spark. I,
Mhm.
I can't stand energy drinks and I can't stand coffee. So I'm a
Oh,
Spark guy. And
interesting.
then all day long I drink Powerade Zero. I really like the purple ones. I like the white ones, but I don't know, they discontinued it or something, and I was kind of mad about cherry. I think it was white cherry,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
but
a good one.
So are you an advocate
gone.
guy, or you just like that Spark stuff?
I am not yeah, I just like it. I buy it from a buddy.
Okay, right on. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Heck
Nick,
yeah.
what's your,
Yeah, one of your favorite taco toppings.
mm.
Jalapenos.
Okay, my guy.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yes, very
heck
nice.
yeah, that's a really good one, man. We haven't even talked about taco stuff like at all. Dude's been we've been too dialed in on fishing, but I like it. What's one of your favorite spinner baits, as specific as you can be?
Mm. I don't throw them. I'll be
Okay,
honest.
I thought
I'm
maybe like
terrible with
in the muddy moments of the river, I thought maybe you go spinner bait, but
they work, and I mean, I probably throw like I have some. I think I just buy like the War Eagle,
yeah,
because they've always had good luck with them. They kind of
yeah,
stay together. I don't have like a
Mhm.
anybody that I got a buddy that owns TNT Tackle. He makes me some that are really nice.
okay,
And he's got a really nice Indiana blade that he throws if you want like a thump, a real
yep,
good thumper in cold water. But I don't throw a spinnerbait a lot. I got to be honest with that one. I'm gonna change that because I
yeah,
know they flat out catch fish. But
yeah. Yeah, I don't think you're old enough. I don't know if I'm old enough, but I know when they first like started hitting tournaments, they banned them, which is like the craziest thing. Like spinner baits were banned.
really,
Yeah, they got banned in a lot of tournaments. I don't know on like the bass level, but a lot of like local tournaments around the country, they're like they just catch. It was like the Alabama rig. Like when it came out, people thought
yeah,
it was just too easy. It was too simple. This is stupid, and they banned spinner baits, which is so laughable. Nate,
that
give him
is.
more. One of your favorites. I'll give him one more, and then we'll talk about gear and stuff.
Uh, Favorite fishing shoe. What do you wear on your feet? You a flip flop guy or tennies or what?
I wear Air Maxes almost
Dude,
religiously.
I was just gonna say
Solid.
Maxes. This dude's on the M&M tip. He's got to be rocking
Yeah.
Maxes. Are you a shoe guy? What Air Maxes? 95s, 97s? What do you like to wear?
I used to always wear the I don't even remember what the 2017s or whatever with the big
Mhm.
bubble, the whole thing. But
Yeah,
I'd
yeah, yeah.
step on a hook and then I'd have a flat tire, and you
Yeah.
can tell
Yeah.
when you pop one, they're
These,
terrible.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So I wear a lot of Air Max 95s. Like
Yeah,
I
dude. This dude's the
yeah,
coolest. I like this. Do you know Andy at Team Marine in Lacrosse?
I do.
Yeah, so his son runs a shoe shop in Holman. You guys should definitely link up. That'd be like a freaking dope sponsorship. That'd be so cool to put his logo. It's called Kicks. Actually, it's called at Kicks, the at Kicks store in Holman. They have some super dope stuff. That'd be the coolest sponsorship ever for a guy who likes M&M and fishing and Air Maxes and stuff. That'd be rad.
That would be
Yeah,
cool.
no doubt.
I've seen Andy post about it, but I've never had the time to go look at the store or anything, or
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe it's just online. Does he have like a
He has
brick
a
and
store.
mortar?
Yeah, he has a storefront too. Yep, in
He
Holman.
does. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, because he started off. What's his name? Taj, right? He started off
I
when he was
think something like that. Yeah.
just slanging shoes at school, like buying them, reselling them from like Ross or eBay or whatever, and then it just blew up. And dude just killed it. And Andy's a cool dad who believes in his son and like invested in it, and like he's killing it. That'd be a cool combo. But all right, let's transition out of this.
One of your favorites.
Thank you for playing one of your favorites. You were a little more rapid fire, which I really appreciate. We're not always that good on that. Let's go gear talk a little bit. And I don't want to keep you on too long, but I really appreciate you. And like I'm digging your answers. They're very honest, but like insightful and whatever. What is one piece of fishing gear? And you can be as specific as you want or vague, whatever. What's one piece of gear that you will not compromise on?
Probably my reels.
Okay,
Um,
sense.
actually, I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna go with my line.
Mm,
It's the only thing that bonds me to the fish, and I've been burned by bad line.
mhm. Yeah, for
And
sure.
this year, I'm fortunate enough to have paired up with Yozuri, and a lot of people don't realize they think of Yozuri as hard baits and the 3DB line and stuff like that. And Yozuri actually has their own line factory in Japan, and they make some of the baddest braid and the baddest fluorocarbon on the market. So I got
Oh,
really lucky to partner with them.
yeah.
I know there's
Yeah.
a lot of other names that are more heard,
Mm.
but Yozuri has like some of the best line out there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
That's a good answer.
Yeah, heck yeah. I think I have some of their stuff tied on the T7 maybe,
yeah,
fluoro, yeah, and then some top knot too, which is I think their lower end stuff, but I've been pretty impressed with it. So
Yeah, that's dope. I didn't know they had their own factory. That's really cool.
yeah, they make a really nice copolymer too. Unlike some of the other ones that are like a mono with a fluoro
co- coating,
coating.
yeah,
This is a true copolymer, like an infused copolymer. So
Wow.
for those that want a floating line with less stretch, or so they make some pretty sweet stuff, and I feel like it's overlooked. So we're gonna try to put them on the map a little bit this year because um, and actually I was talking to their sales guy, and 50% of their sales are actually line, which I would have never guessed.
Really?
nah, yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
Huh. Yeah, that's wild. I
yeah.
didn't know at all. What you got, Nate?
I wouldn't have thought that. Wouldn't have thought that one bit. So, um, I want to run down on the new rig. Why don't you give us all the details on the
Yeah.
new rig for the Elite Series?
Dude, I'm stoked about the rig. I couldn't have been more lucky. I had won a boat to use in the Bass Nation. They had a Ranger 520R, really nice rig. But I've been in a Phoenix for quite a while now, and Phoenix was good to me this year, and I ordered a brand new 2026 921 Elite X. Some major improvements on that thing over the old ones. The seats are bad to the
They're
bone.
incredible looking. Yeah,
Yeah, they look really good. I got the heated seats again. And
That's,
let me tell you, people laugh at the heated seats, but
oh,
when you use them, when you need them, they are. I have so many co-anglers this year, like, whoa, my butt's on fire, and I'm like, yeah, heated seat, and he's like, dude, that's the baddest thing I've ever had.
yeah.
Um, so heated seats, they got the fiberglass console, they got the dual stack fiberglass bow shrouds, so everything's real clean, looks real good. Running the power pole move up front,
Mm,
and I've been running that thing for 4 years now. I think I was the first guy in Wisconsin to have one. Um, Partnered with one of my sponsors and made a bracket to hold the 360 on it and everything else. Helped the power pole work with some interference issues and stuff like that way back in 2022 or 2023.
wow.
I think it was 2022.
heck yeah.
And so 10-foot blades. I went to 10-footers this year, which I ran 8-footers when Spotlock came out. I said, I'm not doing these 10-footers anymore. I'm sick of hitting the garage door or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't need them. I got Spotlock. And then after fishing with like the minnow became live scoping became such a big deal. It's so nice to be able to touch in 10 foot and not have be on spot lock, especially in the current.
Yeah.
So I went with 10-footers on that this year, all impulse batteries, lithiums. I got more power than I'll need in a month, but I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So running there, the power pole um, charge for my charger.
That
I got
setup,
3 Apexes.
the charger,
Um,
man.
oh, dude, the charge is
I mean,
sick.
but that thing is so
Yeah,
and so sick, and the interface on your phone is so easy to use. I work at a marine dealership up here in Chippewa Falls, and I've seen a lot of other companies in there, and I'm not going to name any names, but the power pole charge, and I don't have one. I've just seen them on a few boats. It is so intuitive and it's nice. It's really easy to use. It's really smart. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm kind of mad I didn't ask PowerPole for a vision in hindsight,
Yeah,
thinking of what they offer. I don't know if you're familiar with the vision.
yeah, that's starting to really blow up.
Yeah, and I'm running 3 Apex 13s. We're on a screen limit size, so or a
Right.
screen size limit.
Mhm.
So I got 3 13s, 2 at the console, one up front for my 360, and then I got a 16-inch 1643 Garmin
Mm.
for my live scope. So um the boat's decked out, bad to the bone. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Um can't think of anything off the top of my head, but Mercury 250 on there. Um partner with them this year. And yeah, I haven't got to drive it yet. So I literally picked it up, drove it to the wrap shop, and it's still there right now. My truck and boat are there getting
Dang.
wrapped for the year. And I can't wait. It's supposed to be done like tomorrow.
Oh, snap.
And I'm going to leave on next Monday, head down to Chickamauga, break that thing in, and do some fishing. So I'm
Wh-
super excited to use it. But
Yeah.
the rig's sick. It turned out awesome.
Yeah. Where are you getting it all
Heck
wrapped?
yeah.
So there's a shop, Sinorama,
Mhm.
in West Salem, Wisconsin.
Mhm.
That's where I'm getting it done.
Okay.
They've done my last 2 wraps, and it was new to them. There's obviously a little learning curve, but I feel like they're getting it down. So stuck with them this year, and
Yeah.
they've always done a good job for me. So
Yeah. Are you doing a similar design as what you've had in the past? Like that kind of like break up on the nose and then darker in the back, or do you not want to reveal that yet?
no, that's fine. I'm actually doing a black and gray camo,
Mm.
from the nose back to kind of behind the seats, and then it's going to be like a green topo, kind of like your background here.
Oh, sure.
But it's going to be like
Oh,
lime
nice.
green. So my title sponsor is Contractor Flow, which is based up by the cities, Hudson, up in that area,
Mhm.
up in the metro, and they have like a lime green in their logo. So they're a software company for remodelers, basically what I do. Uh, so they're my title sponsor. So the green kind of played into it. My truck doesn't have any green on it besides their logo, but the back of the boat does have the topo. And I saw it. I stopped in Friday just to see because I wanted a sneak peek. I was so excited, and it looked bad to the bone.
Heck yeah, good for you, man. This is
So
exciting, dude. I feel like excited for you, like
Heck
vicariously.
yeah.
What kind of boat are you, or I'm sorry, what kind of truck are you driving?
F-250.
Okay, diesel or are you a gasser?
I'm a diesel guy. I
Yeah.
last 2
Yeah.
years I drove an F-150 with the 3.5, and honestly, it was a great truck. But there's just something about the diesel that just not knowing it's back there and just like cruising. So, and of course, I can't leave a nice truck alone. So I had this beautiful, nice F-250, and then I had to go and ruin it. I put a 4-inch lift in it and 37-inch tires on 24-inch wheels, and just took this nice riding truck and made it into a lumber wagon. But whatever, it looks cool. So
Yeah.
It's gonna look good going down the road.
Yeah, it's gonna look
yeah.
good, sound good. It's not gonna do so great on the MPGs, but
Oh
whatever.
my gosh.
Who
No, I
cares?
lost about 7 of those.
Oof, the Maya. You're gonna say 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7. That's a drop.
Yeah, it
That's
was bad.
that's significant, but you're gonna look freaking awesome. And like you said, you don't want to roll in with a 91 Pro Craft anymore. You're with the big boys now, or whatever you had. You got to come out swinging. So, let's change just a little bit. And again, thank you for being on the show. I don't want to keep you super long, but I do like talking to you. And again, I know I keep saying this, but I keep leaning into and thinking about where you're at in your life right now, like just getting ready to strike out into the elites. And so I think your perspective on this is maybe a little better, a little different. What advice would you give to somebody who wants to fish competitively? Where should they start, do you think?
Man, so this is going to be repetitive for anybody that's watched me on another podcast. 'Cause I've been asked this before, and I
Sure.
can't stress it enough, is where it happened for me and what kind of got me pointed in the right direction, because I think it's an unknown for anybody that's hasn't done it and is thinking about doing it. They're like, well, where do you even start? How do you ever get to doing it
Mhm.
professionally, doing it for a living?
Hmm.
And I was that guy. And when I ran into Swindle and Crete at uh, the hotel on the island. I can't remember what it is, but it doesn't matter. And I just said, "How did you guys ever get to where you're at?" And they said, "Just fish everything you can.
Mm.
Fish, fish, fish." And I didn't put a lot of weight on it. I'm like, whatever. Of course they're gonna say that. And then I ran into I think Grant Goldbeck actually, and we were talking, and we kind of came buddies for a while there. And I said, "What do I got to do? I want to do what you do." And he's like, "Just fish everything you can."
Mm.
And at this point, I'm kind of like, well, why would they both say it? But I still didn't put a lot of weight on it. And then another pro told me the same thing. And finally, I'm like, well, they're not just saying this. I mean, there's got to be a reason, or. So I think, and then I started fishing everything I possibly fish, like practice, no practice, whatever, it didn't matter. I just put my money in. I fished, or I just fish. Like every day that I could get out, even if I had 3 hours between appointments for work, I'd go out and fish. And things started to like click because it's just the time on the water and
Oh,
just understanding everything. Um, and then, fishing is one thing, but then tournament fishing is another thing. So that's why I think it's important to put your money in and fish. And when you're on time constraints and you got to figure it out, and um, it's just experience. You can't. I don't think it's something you can teach. I think it's just something you got to put your money in and learn.
mm, that's great, man. Yeah, that's really good advice. I think that's really
Heck yeah.
yeah. I think there is no substitute for time on the water. There just isn't. You
Yeah.
can't fake it. You can't jump steps. You can't go from step 2 to step 5. You just can't. And I think it is funny though sometimes how like we look for an answer from someone, but then the answer we get isn't what we wanted, so we blow it off.
That was me. Totally.
and,
100%.
and it's the right answer, but you're like, that's not what come on, give me something insightful, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
sometimes insight is like really, really simple. Dude, how important are sponsors to you? Because there was one thing I noticed on your Bassmaster page, if we look up Nick Trim, that you have like 343 sponsors. Maybe not literally, but on the bottom it just goes and goes and goes and goes. How important are sponsors to you? And in 2026, what do sponsors care about?
So sponsors are everything for a guy like me.
Mm,
I make a really good living doing what I do, and I'm giving that up to go chase these little green fish around.
yeah.
And I still, in I'm not a 19-year-old kid who doesn't have any responsibilities. I mean, I have family and wife and house, and um, I got bills, and so I have to have income. And if without sponsors, I couldn't do it. So that was one of the biggest things for me to figure out in the off season. And it's not like we had a ton of time. I mean, it was the end of October when that tournament
Yeah.
finished, and I found out I made it. So
Yeah.
um, I hope I don't have a ton of sponsors. This should only I got them all written down here so I don't ever like forget
Okay.
anybody, but
Yeah.
it should only be like 18.
Only
But
keep that only 18.
I mean, I feel super blessed to have that many. I really do
That's awesome. I'm
because
making fun
Heck
of you.
yeah.
Great. I'm just saying, like when I looked, I was like, whoa, this is a long list.
yeah, when it started out, I was like, man, you can't get a hold of anybody. You
Yeah.
can't like
Yeah.
how do you even get a call back? And my title sponsor was really cool. Great story with them because we use their software where I work, where I'm a sales manager at River Valley. And River Valley was my title sponsor the last 2 years. But long story short, they reached out to me after I won. They're super into fishing.
Mm.
One of the owner's sons, Easton Linda's, fishes on the college level.
Oh, cool.
So you maybe heard of Linda's Construction being up in the Chippewa Valley area.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's be his dad and uncle's company,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that they reached out to me. So that one took care of itself, which was
That's cool.
huge for me. And then
That's awesome.
yeah, super awesome. And then I just started plugging away. Like I bet you I spent as much time emailing and texting and sending social media messages to companies as I did anything else for at least 6 weeks after I won the national
Wow.
championship.
Okay.
And the amount of rejection you get is unbelievable. And I'm pretty I'll be the first to admit I don't have a huge social media following. I'm not the YouTuber with 10,000 subscribers or anything like that. So what do they want? They want exposure. And I mean, some of them just want a good guy, like they
Mm,
don't really care about that, but most of them want exposure and they want a return. And
yeah.
I mean, I get that side of it. So I feel like I am a good candidate for them to sponsor because I'm a sales manager. So I understand like there's no year two if year one doesn't produce a return on whatever they put forward. So I'm
Mm,
going to do my best to like make sure that happens with everybody that has helped me. But um, for the most part, they want exposure and they want it through your social media channels. So I've been working on that. I asked ChatGTP like draw me a foolproof plan on how to get my social media following up. So I screenshotted it, trying to follow it the best I can, but posting more. Um, like I posted that fish that let me in or let me know I got in. That
mhm.
thing blew up. That was pretty cool. Like And I don't know what makes one of those things blow up, but that was
Yeah.
Aaron Jagfeld. He was following me around that day, and he took that video and sent it to me, and it's like really crappy, like it's from Snapchat, so it's like really low resolution.
Yeah.
And for some reason that thing took off. I don't know why, but yeah, so I couldn't do it without the sponsors. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm just always curious, like the business side of fishing, because people don't think about
Yeah, dude, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes and like so much time that you have to devote to the sponsorship side of it,
it. Mhm.
I don't think unless you're like some of the select few, I would say like a Patrick Walters, Drew Gill,
Yeah,
Tucker Smith, some of those guys, unless you're one of the top, Jacob Wheeler, I guess, you don't live off tournament winnings.
right.
You just can't.
Yeah,
So there's very few guys that can, and you really got to have the sponsors and the people behind you.
yeah, that's good insight, man. Really good.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned, all the rejections. Do you have any like funny stories or like any like fun anything entertaining that came from a rejection? You don't have to name drop a company or anything, but
No, I really don't. I wish I mean, I don't. I mean, most of the time it was like no response. You
right.
just wouldn't get a
Yeah,
response. You'd see they read your message, or you'd send them email and you just
you're
no
like,
response.
yeah,
That was most of it. I nothing funny that I can think of.
yeah, that's good.
Uh,
If you all right, let's ask a couple stupid questions and then we'll wrap this thing up. Uh, if you could only fish on one lake the rest of your life, or you're a river rat, one pool, what would it be?
Uh, it, everybody wants me to say Pool 7 on the Mississippi River. I know they do,
I thought you were
but
gonna.
it would
uh,
110% be Lake Gunnersville.
Oh wow,
That place is
wow, yeah, that's not at all impressive.
insane.
That's awesome. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
heck yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. One other real quick one, and then Nate, you can jump in whatever the heck you got, and then
Yeah.
I think I'll try. Tomorrow, the elites come out and say, from now on, just because we think it relates to people on like the grind, it's got to be a 2-man tournament from here on in, and you, Nick Trim, get your first pick. Who would you pick as your co-angler?
Do they have to be an elite?
Anybody. It could be Abraham Lincoln. I don't care. Whoever you
Oh,
want. Yeah.
I would 110% pick Nick O'Keefe. He is
Okay.
my team partner, and I would like ride or die. Like
That's
yeah,
why. Why him? Just because you know him
dude.
so well? What is it about him?
I don't. Man, I could go on for a long time with the story, but like we
Yeah.
we got together probably 6 years ago, and we competed. Like we were like at each other, like, man, I hope he don't have him today. I hope he don't have, and one day we're like, I was fishing with my wife because I was just sick of showing people stuff and catching them on it or them
Yeah.
telling somebody else. And I'm just like, I'm not doing this anymore. So I fished
Yeah.
with my wife, and he was having troubles with his partner, just with like a getting along in the boat. And I said, hey, you wanna just jump in? I don't have anybody to fish the Fall Frenzy, just this little $100 tournament. I said, you wanna jump in the boat? He's like, yeah, let's do it.
Mm.
So that was our first tournament we ever fished together. No practice, and we took second place, and we laughed. I mean, we won the tournament on laughs. It was so
Right.
much fun,
Yeah.
and
Love that.
he learned a ton from me, and I learned a ton from him. And I'm like, whoa, like we could do it, like this
Yeah.
could work. And I think we both felt the same way. And so the next year we like, let's do this. And we laugh so much, and we have so much fun in the boat.
Yeah. I love it.
Um, I just we just I don't know, something about it took a year for us to really figure it out. The first year we were together, we kind of sucked. Well, I mean, we didn't do what we thought we would. And then year two and on, it's just been a ride. It's been fun. So, and even if we don't catch them, we laugh so hard the whole day. So it's like takes the gloom out of it, I guess. But
Yeah. That's dope. So you the
Heck
two
yeah.
Nick squared, yeah.
Nick squared. Yeah. That's dope, dude. What else you got, Nate? Let's get a couple more and then we'll let this brother go.
Yeah, so Jordan kind of mentioned that I'm from Iowa. He didn't mention that I'm from the Quad Cities. So I want to know how much you enjoyed fishing the regionals down here. How fun was that?
Man, that was probably the most disappointing tournament I ever got in. So I was one of the knuckleheads that went all the way up to 13,
Yeah.
and I legit thought I was gonna win that tournament. Like there was, I was like, I'm gonna win. There's no doubt I'm gonna win, and I zeroed on day one.
Wow.
Legit zero. It wasn't like I threw them back because they were little. It wasn't like
Yeah.
I had them die or I flat out zeroed. And and then day two, I just sat below the pipe that they released them at. And I mean, I think I had a limit before they got all the boats called. It was like it was
Yeah.
ridiculous, and people were so
That's
mad. They were yelling like, "Whoa," and I had 3 people in my boat. Right, it was me and 2 co-anglers,
Yeah.
and they each had limits within like the first hour. They both made the top, whatever 6 or 10 or whatever win on the last day.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Um, yeah, it was grimy, but obviously I like the challenge of that stuff. Now, lock etiquette was terrible in that thing.
Yeah. I heard
There was a
about
bunch
that.
of
Yeah.
people. Oh,
That's
dude, it was terrible.
goes
I
of it.
felt bad. Like I didn't even take off going from 14 to 13 because they were putting it on pad in the lock chamber. And there was this guy in this 17 and a half foot aluminum bass track. It was a Ranger, one of them red Rangers with
Yeah.
like a 115 or a 90 on it. And I thought he was going to get capsized 'cause the waves were like
Swamped. Yeah.
legit sixes.
Jeez.
And so I just hung back by him in case he went over. And then once he got out of there, then I took off, But um, it was it was a mess. It was an absolute mess. But anyway, yeah, being a grimy tournament, I don't mind because that's part of the challenge, and I like that. You know, Lake Martin. I want to talk about Lake Martin, but these grimy tournaments where it's like a 9 or 10 pound, or you're just struggling to get 5 bites. I
Mhm.
do like
Yeah.
those tournaments
Yeah.
because that's the challenge of it. That's why we do what we do. Not every tournament's going to be Gunnersville where you're catching 20, 30, 40 fish a day and they're 4 to 7 pounders. It's just not. So, but yeah, it was. There's a bunch of cowboys in that thing, and they ruined it for everybody, I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No. Yeah. I definitely heard about it. I knew it was a wild one. I actually sat down on the wall and watched you and Hunter Lynchfield fish right there, right off the wall that second day. So
yeah, yeah, and he
yeah,
was
just
stroking
throttled
them, and
on
I
him.
couldn't catch him at that point.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I said, "Give me a pack of them baits." And so
Yeah.
he didn't give me a pack, but he told me what they
Yeah.
were.
Yeah.
Well, it was like it was 2 weeks after that, a week or so after that. Me and Jordan, that's where we went. I went down and we caught that. I caught that last one on that spinnerbait in that video we made when
Yep.
we fished on 15 and then went down to 16. So
Yep. Yeah. I love that stretch of the river.
yeah,
Gets slept on, but it's a fun little bit. I figured some people would run up to 13 for sure. It's more known and whatever, but yeah, I heard the stories of the lock dummies, which is so frustrating. At least
Oh, it
nobody
was bad.
got Ishman Road or whatever. Had somebody run up on him and jumped on their boat and punched him in the face. Although I think it got close, but
yeah,
uh,
that video ran around of that fight in that marina mouth.
yep. Yeah, that kind of got some traction. But
Yeah,
I also think though, like to your point, Nick, I think there's something to be said for figuring it out in a grind type tournament. Like you said, it's when it's all rainbows and butterflies and everybody's catching them, then it almost just comes down to who got lucky enough to have that 1 6-pounder when everybody else was catching a 5-pounder. But when it's a grind derby and you have to, like you were referencing earlier, you have to figure out the pattern. And then like when it shifts at whatever time, be before everybody else, even if it's only by a few ounces, like it's hard. I feel like that almost proves more the mettle of a fisherman when it's really tough like that personally.
I agree. Like the St. Clair and the St. Lawrence, those types of fisheries where everybody's smashing 5 pound smallmouth, and it's like
yeah,
ounces that separate everybody. Um, for me, I mean, there's still a huge amount of skill in them. Don't get me wrong, and you still got to be on the fish, and you got to be able to catch them. But I feel like the grinders are really like the ones that keep you from spinning, like the guys that are headstrong and don't spin out and like can really keep their nose to the grindstone and figure it out. Like I think that's cool too.
Yeah, I think that's harder. I think it's harder, and when you can do that, You know, like if you were in the UFC and you had to fight somebody, and the somebody you had to fight was like the champ and you won, it means more. Like when it's harder, it just means more. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's just men being hard headed, but when it's more difficult and you prevail, it means more. You know. Which, speaking of which, excuse me, would you be willing to? Again, your trophy room is amazing. Would you be willing to show the people at home that awesome plaque that you showed us before we started recording?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is
Speaking of
and shame on me for not having it hung up, but this is probably the coolest one I got
uh,
because it shows my
God.
championship and then that I made the classic. And um I don't have it hung up. I want to rearrange things, but I'm in the middle of building a shed right now. Um I say shed. It's 50 by or 40 by 70. So it's a big
Jeepers.
garage or whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it. And
Big shed.
all this stuff's
Yeah.
going to get moved down there.
Yeah.
And so yeah, my two biggest accomplishments, obviously the Brian Kerschel trophy as well, which you couldn't see in the video, but
That's
those two are the baddest ones I got.
God, yeah.
And hopefully, this year I can put a blue one up there.
Yeah,
But
I was gonna say you might need a heavier shelf. You better hit some studs. Them suckers weigh a couple pounds.
yeah, the goals shifted this year for sure. It's Angler of the Year, Classic, and Elite Series trophies. So
Yeah, dude, come on. I think that's a great place to.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you so much for jumping on, man. You're a great dude to talk to. Articulate, honest. I think you had some really inspiring stories. Even of like, again, Ike, don't give up, like with the Troy motor being out. And yeah, I think it was really good talking to you, man. We have it on the screen right now. If you're watching on YouTube, it is just at Nick Trim Fishing for your socials and stuff, correct?
yeah, yep.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say before we let you go? But again, thank you for being on, man.
No, I appreciate you guys being on there. Everybody who I'll be doing some sponsor stuff as we get more into the season. But I appreciate you guys having on. And I didn't realize you were right in Chippewa Falls, but
Yeah.
probably darn near crossed paths a few times. So
I'm sure.
I'll stop and shake your hand and say hi. And if I get down to the Quad Cities, I'll definitely. I think I remember now that you say you watch me and Hunter. I do remember you guys being up there. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
super cool.
sitting up on the wall. Yeah, I think I've seen
Yeah.
you a couple times up on 9. I fished the 10K this year too, so I think I saw you running around up there. So
Yeah, fish that every year.
Alright.
Next year, come say hi for sure.
Heck yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
so-
do for sure.
Well, thank you again,
Super
man.
exciting. Thanks, guys.
We're rooting for you, brother. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Peace.
All right. I love it, dude. I love it when you get to talk to a guy that you don't really know, but you know about him, and he's not a douchebag. Just never know. Like,
Yeah.
you never know when you meet somebody, or he's awkward, or he's not. Like, what a cool dude. I could definitely see. Hopefully he didn't take that wrong. 'Cause I'm not trying to make fun of him or be silly about it, but I could definitely see why he has so many sponsors. He's sharp. He's articulate. He's got a plan. The fact that he's a sales manager, I think he can definitely speak the language of, because I think in the whole sponsor world, like when we had Sonar, we had Miles on, and he kind of gave us like the school of sponsorship, and he was like, too many people come to sponsors like gimme, and they don't start with what they can, build value for that brand.
Yeah.
Nick knows better than that. And he's a stick. He can fish, I wanted to say something to him. Like, do you think, I forgot to say this, dang it. Do you think that maybe God made you for fishing because your first name rhymes with stick and your last name is a vital part of like an engine operation? Nick the Stick, like he needs to have his own like Bob's Machine Shop, like the Nick Trim.
Yeah. Full trim Nick.
Yeah, I guess it's not trim. That's that's a jack plate, whatever. But some. Oh my gosh, I don't know if Nate, the difference between tilt and trim. And when I try and explain it to people, like at the shop, it is the most annoying thing in the world. The difference between tilt and trim. It's just the motion. Like, from here to here is tilt, from here to here is trim. Or whatever. If people don't get that, like tilt it up, trim it up, tilt it, trim down. I'm like, oh my gosh, it drives. Anyway, yeah, great conversation and legit, man. I'm gonna be rooting for him. I think it's gonna be really cool to see what he can do and how he can take the familiarity and the things he's learned on the river and apply them all over the place. Because like I said in the beginning, I mean, do you agree, Nate? Like fishing is fishing with a little bit of tweakage.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Fishing is fishing, and like he said, he's going to be, fishing to his strengths, for the vast majority of the season, which I think is a great decision, on his part. Yeah, I mean, nothing but well wishes for him. He gained a new fan here, for sure. I'm going to be rooting for him every single event. So that
Yep.
that was sweet.
Yeah, and I mean, I think like you think of someone like John Cox or like Keith Poche or even Ike, like the people who have like devoted fan bases, like guys who are like like John Cox. Nobody's like, oh, he's okay. People love John Cox. People who like Ike, they're not like, yeah, he's all right. They're like, dude, Ike is the greatest ever. Why? Because they're themselves. They fish to their strengths. They act like themselves. They're not going to dilute it and water down who they are. And I think Nick absolutely has a chance to kind of do a similar deal. I would love to see, like you said, I'd love to see him like homeboy on that. I can never remember that kid's name who took his live scope off like the night before that big derb. You know what I'm talking about? Before that, was it before the classic or what was it before?
Oh yeah, what
I
think it was
I can never
it was the classic
name. Yeah, and he was like, "F it, this ain't me.
Yeah.
I don't even want to have it on my boat." I love
Yeah.
that. I love when people do that crap, And I like live scope. I love my live scope, but I like it when people are themselves, fish to their strengths, and like, whatever. I don't need to be Drew, whoever, one of the many Drews who are good at fishing because there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just be yourself. But what else you got, Nick? What else you got, Nate, about Nick?
Man, I can't think of much else. It just that was really, like you said, great to talk to somebody and not know much about them, and they're not not a butthole or whatever. It seems like an awesome, genuine dude.
Yeah.
Who's going to be insanely easy to root for. So.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good way of saying it. Easy to root for. So before we sign off, we just want to thank everybody for listening. Keep in mind, we are brought to you, if you're watching on YouTube, it's on the show now. We are brought to you. Our title sponsor is Grizzly Coolers, which we couldn't be more proud of. There's a Grizzly Cooler hat in the background of Nate and Nate's shot. I'm wearing a Grizzly hoodie. Of course, I have the Grizzly drinkware here, as I believe that Nate does as well on his end.
Yes, sir.
Of course, the coolers. The coolers are the best coolers I've ever used. And I've had every brand there is out there, even ones that start with Y. And I'm not dissing that, but I just think Grizzlies are as good or better, and they're cheaper. And grizzlycoolers.com. Use the code WCB, you get 15% off. That's a chunk, dude. That's dope. So
heck yeah.
Leupold, we love being a part of Leupold's performance eyewear team. Leupold. So some people say Leopold. I don't really know what's right. I think it's Leupold. But they've been making crap on the West Coast and Northwest for over 100 years. And everything they put out from their sunnies, which I got many pairs, which I'm honored to have. I also have, sorry for the noises, I have a pair of my Leupold binoculars here that I use for bow hunting. Everything they put out, the scope, they're dope. They're incredible. You cannot go wrong. They stand behind the product, and it's good. It's just really good. Giltech. I think there's a box behind me somewhere, isn't there? Oh yeah, right here. There's a Giltech.
Yeah, right there.
With so professional. Best swim jigs I've ever thrown. Whether it's the Northern Swim Jig, which has fluoro for the hook, like the weed guard, or the heavy cover one, which is more of a traditional like black, little weed guard coming out. They're just awesome. The colors are dope. My favorite by far, if you look it up on the website, which is Hook and Arrow Supply Company. My favorite one is a color called Mud Lime. It's like a combo of green, pumpkin, and brown, and then the bottom side is like this bright lime green. It's not chartreuse, but it's like a lime green, and it works in everywhere you throw a swim jig. This will catch them. Clear, stained, doesn't matter, and not a lot of colors can kind of play like that. And then our final sponsor is Moldy's Marine, MOLDY' Marine, a veteran-owned company that will come to you to work on your boat, to do electronics, to rig up your trolling motor, to detail your boat. Jeremy Moldrum, you've probably heard me talk about him in the past. He's the guy who I was fishing a derby with him on pool 8, I think it was. And the night before, he has a 89 Champ, and the night before, he cut off the passenger side console and then refiberglassed it in, picks me up for the tournament, and you couldn't even really tell that he cut it off. Like, the dude is just slicker than snot with really anything boats, fiberglass painting, detailing, electronics, whatever, you name it. I know he's starting to come out like this coming spring with like a special. I don't know what he's running like price wise, but where it's like detail the boat, make sure the batteries work, test it, make sure the water pump's pumping water the way it's supposed to. So you're going to have your boat ready for spring plus detailed for like a pretty low price. So look him up on Facebook. That's all we got. We'll catch you on the next one. Positivity is worth the effort. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
Peace.